What's your math teacher, I guess?
All right, so we are looking at something called special functions today. We're just going to do the graphing piece of it today, and then tomorrow we're going to have the graphs and then work backwards to what the equations would be. Okay, so we're just going to be graphing these. Now on each of them, there's multiple graphs to put on the coordinate plane. Okay, and you're only graphing them on the ranges that they give you. So you'll notice there's always an equation over here on the left. Okay, so there's this one, and this one. And then each of them have the range on which you're going to be putting the line or curve or whatever it is. Okay, so here's how this works. We have three equations, so we're going to make three XY tables. So let's start here. Okay, so we are looking at this first one. Okay, now g of x is the same thing as writing y. Okay, the x values are going to be found in these ranges right here on the right-hand side. Okay, so looking here, this is going to tell you what numbers to use for x. Okay, so it says if x is less than or equal to -4. Okay, so we have to use the number that's given to us always. So we've got -4. What's two more numbers that would fall into that range?
-7.
Okay, you just need to have 3. All right, so let's look at this. There's nowhere to put the x in the equation, right? It's just -3. Okay, so the y value is always -3. It is a straight line, horizontal line, yes. Okay. Now the next one, I'm going to use a different color. Now we're looking here. Okay, so we have to use the numbers they gave us, so we know we're going to use -4 and we're going to use 2. But then we have to use a number in between the two. It doesn't matter which number you pick, so we can just pick 0. Okay, now you're going to take each of these x values and put them into the equation. Okay, the equation is just x. So if we put -4 right here, what do we get? -4. And you put 0?
0.
And 2. Okay, we're just substituting that x value in. Okay, so let's do this one. X greater than or equal to 2. Let's use a different color. Okay, so what other numbers could we use?
3. 7.
We'll use 2, 3, 4. Okay, now again, we're putting these x values into this equation right here. So if we put a 2 right here, what does it simplify to be? Which is 4. Okay, if we put a 3 right there, what do we get? And put a 4 there, we get a 2. Now, we have to worry about open and closed circles as well. Okay, so looking right here, we've got less than or equal to on this red one up here at the top. So is that going to be open or closed? Closed. There's only this situation right here where we're going to have open circles, right? Because they're not or equal to, there's not a line underneath the inequality. It's just less than and less than. So on the -4 and the 2, this is my reminder to myself that these are going to be open circles when I graph them. These two coordinates are going to be open. The rest of them are going to be all filled in. Okay, so now all we have to do is plot these coordinates. So we're looking at the red one first. I'm going to keep them color coordinated on the graph. So we have to plot all of these points, -4, -3. Okay, so there's that one. And -5, -3. And then the other one's out here. Okay, essentially the graph goes like this, right? Why did I only have the arrow pointing to the left? Why did it say that? Where does it say that? It's everything less than -4. Okay, it didn't say greater than -4. Okay, this is the graph. We're only graphing it less than -4. Okay, so that's the red one. This green one, you'll notice in the range up above here that it's just in between these two, so there's not going to be arrows on this one. We're only graphing in between these two numbers. So we have -4, 4. So we have an open circle right here. We have 0, 0. That one's filled in, and we have 2, 2. That's open. Okay, we connect these. And we have that part of the graph. And then we have the last one. We'll plot these 3 points. None of these are open, so they're going to be filled in circles. We have 2, 4. Right here we have 3, 3. We have 4, 2. And if we continued that on, it would go in this direction. So we put the arrow there. So all you're doing today is graphing. We're going to use these graphs that you make in your homework in the notes tomorrow. So, questions on this graph? You always do your tables so that you know where to plot the points, and then you just have to worry about whether they're open or closed circles. Okay, let's try this one. We've got x, y, x, y, x, y. All right, so let's look at this first one. What numbers should I write down under the x's? -1 for sure. -2, -3. Okay, we found that by looking right here. It tells you what x values to use. Okay, are any of these going to be open circles?
No.
No, because it says less than or equal to. Okay, so all are going to be filled in. Okay, so if we put -1 here, or -2 or -3, what are the y values always? They're always 8 on this one. So we got 8, 8, 8. Okay, new color. What values should we use here? -1, 0, and 4 would be great numbers. Or -1, 1, and 4. Okay, what if we put a -1 right here in for x? We get -2. What about a 0? We get 0, and we get 8 when we do that one. And the last one. What value should we use? 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Okay, so looking here, if we put a 6 right there, what do we get? -10, -11, -12. Okay, where should I circle because they're going to be open circles? The middle one? The top, right here? That one's going to be an open circle? And this one? Okay, the rest are going to be filled in circles when we plot them. Okay, let's do the red first. -1, 8. Okay, so there's that one. -2, 8. -3, 8. So moral of the story here is this one's going forever that way. Okay, the middle one. We need 2 open circles. So we go -1, -2. That one's open. We have 0, 0 filled in. And 4, 8 is open. So we have that part of the graph. And then the last one, 6, negative 10. We have that. And then 7, negative 11. And that goes forever that way. Questions? So we're only doing half of the assignment from the assignment sheet, which is doing just 12 through 15, and it's just making these 4 graphs. We're going to use these graphs in the notes tomorrow, so make sure you do complete all 4 of them within the hour.